on YouTube, go to 1070. Go to YouTube and then go to 1070 The Fan. Right there, man. You can't miss it. Hope you're coming and join. Big Joe. It's Grady and Big Joe right before us. I love talking to Big Joe about the foots. Hey, Joe, line struggled. Any idea why?
I'm going to go with heat, humidity, and because it was like 80% humidity.
Yeah?
And it's only because I can't think of anything else. Why else? There was nothing else different. You're on this roll. Even on the road, they played pretty decent on the road. You just flat out laid an egg in this game. I know the Jets game wasn't any good, but you just flat out laid an egg in this game, and I can't put my finger on anything other than maybe the conditions. And, it is one of the best defenses you're going to face, but for heaven's sakes, you just faced them. And you shouldn't have been surprised about anything. Calais Campbell played well again, and Ngakoue got his in this time around instead of we did a pretty good job on him the first time. So, I'm going to go with weather.
Oh, nice. Well, when in doubt, when in doubt, go with weather. Hey,
I'll find out tomorrow when I get in the locker room because, believe me, I'm going to ask the question, what the hell happened?
Yeah, that's the only it's like the greatest coaching thing ever is, what are you doing? And then after it's like, what was that? Those are,
right.
Those are big. Hey, Joe, your thoughts to take points off the board?
In that instance, okay, here's the deal. Set this thing up right.
Yeah.
They can't score. They're not going to score. You know that they're not. 14 points is all you need. Going into that game, 14 points is all you need to win the ball game. So at some point, because in the last handful of games, you scored over 24 points a game. You're scoring at will on teams. So the way they're playing, I'm thinking, golly, I just need a play here to get this thing jump-started. That's all we really need here. It's something, they're all kind of in this funk. Let's just get a score and get this thing jump-started. And when they give you gift after gift after gift, let's run into a guy who fair caught the ball. Let's block the center. Let's talk trash after you have a good play. Take advantage of their stupidity and make them pay for it. And unfortunately, I got no problem with that move at all. I got no problem with any of the moves Frank made because I understand why he did it. I guess I'm still today not anywhere concerned that this was going to be a 6-0 game or a 9-6 game. I just can't put my head in the place that, as well as this offense was playing, that you wouldn't score at least 3 touchdowns in this ball game.
Hey, let me go this route with you, Big Joe. Why didn't they? Like, I know we're not supposed to like Jalen Ramsey, but I thought he was damn good. I thought the corners were good, Joe. I did.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, that's one team that can match up to you, man to man. And it's, they went through so many things. Here's the question. You've been on teams like this before, and I'm sure you've coached some. You got such a boisterous defense, and you got guys that are, they're all pro caliber guys, and they had a bunch of them that went to the Pro Bowl and all that kind of stuff. And they come out and they didn't play this well. They haven't played well as a team this year, but they were defensive laden last year too. That was led by them. And so you get all these talkers and everything, and now you're 3-8, and you fire your offensive coordinator, you boot your third. Fournette gets benched, because it's suspended, and then your quarterback. So you got no offensive captains in this game that are even playing, which is hilarious. It's so easy for a defense of studs and stars like that to start pointing the finger. And I thought that's what was going to happen. I thought they were going to go downhill from there. They actually had their defensive guys actually stood up. Now, they were idiots and all the personal fouls and everything that they had, but they played with a sense of pride that I was wondering if they really had. I thought they were maybe more of an individual group of individuals than they were, playing together as a team. And I thought Ngakoue and I thought Calais Campbell, I think, should be their focus because he doesn't say anything and he just plays play after play after play. He is a really, really good player. And I was just surprised, I think, at that as separated as they were, that defense came out and played as well as they needed to. Actually played lights out. They did something that nobody else has been able to do all year to the Colts, and with nothing to play for other than pride. And I was impressed by that with them.
I was too. I mean, I kind of was with you. It just felt like this was not going to be a great thing, right? And for them. And You're right. They got a bunch of big. I tell you, one guy I love, Joe. Swear to God, I looked him up and I can't remember his name. When they were here, their defensive line coach is like a working dude. Like, I got to look up who he is. You probably played against him. He's that freaking old. But anyway, he works, man. Like, this dude works hard. And he's always after these guys, and they seem to respect him. So I kind of thought, wait a second, man, these guys might be a little sexy here for this game. Marion
Hobby. They do play well at home. They do play well at home, and it is one of those, division games where there's still a lot of pride on the line and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I was just surprised that they played for pride, which I didn't really expect them to.
His name is Marion Hobby. He played in the SEC, graduated in '89 from Tennessee, played in the league for a few years, was a coach. But, look, I thought the quarterback of theirs was god-awful. I did. I thought our defense was fine, right?
Right.
All right, Joe, let me go this route. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. In order to keep Andrew safe and protected and everything, which he has been all year, and it's worked out for you, you do a lot of max protection, which also takes guys out of the route. And I think that's really where the rubber hits the road in this one, is that we wanted to keep Andrew safe, as we have been all year, but we've been able to win one-on-one battles. And when Ramsey goes ahead and takes T.Y. out, and still T.Y. made some plays. I mean, T.Y. still had 8 catches in the ball game, but when you can go one-on-one that way, then, it doesn't take much to run with Eric Ebron. You just have to, you're just going to need size to be able to battle with him. And he had a decent game. For 16 targets to come away with 10 catches, it was the other guys that kind of let you down. And I don't know if they didn't get open. I don't know if it's, they were able to be doubled. They could zone in behind with, go man-to-man with Ramsey. It was just the other guys. But there weren't enough guys in the pattern to even make the defense work that hard because you're max protected. And, again, that's worked all year long for you, so I'm not being critical there. I'm just saying, in there was one particular game, you might have had to gamble a little bit more to try and get some guys open.
All right, Joe, where do Colts go from here? Because all of a sudden this schedule looks tough, right?
Yeah. Yeah, your home games, aren't going to be easy. And, of course, you're going to start off in Houston next week, and they're on a roll. And when you take in their owner just dies this last week, and, former President Bush was such a big person in Houston and everything, they're playing with a whole community sense that they haven't had before. So, yeah, it's going to be a tall battle. But I tell you, I like the Colts to bounce back. Certainly offensively, I don't see anything like you saw against Jacksonville this coming week. And, see where it puts you. You're not going to win the division. That mathematically, I know it's still possible, but that's not going to happen. So now you're waiting for a wild card spot, and you're screwed around now in messing this one up, and you already lost the tiebreaker with Baltimore, who won. So now you're losing by record, and you're going to lose a tiebreaker with Baltimore, which is conference wins. You've let Denver in the chase. Denver's behind you in conference wins, but if you don't beat Houston, then that may go to a second tiebreaker. You got to win out, and you're going to have to, obviously play a hell of a lot better than you did offensively this last game. But it doesn't look like, playoffs are going to be something that's, there. But it's still an opportunity for them to get better, work for next year, all that kind of stuff, and for some of these young guys to prove that they belong to be there. Here's the other thing, Dan. I kind of predicted when the season started that you would probably slip up the end of November, first part of December, because you got so many young guys playing. These guys, their college schedules are done.
Yeah.
They're done. And so I think physically it's catching up to some of them a little bit too. So they'll fight through it and they'll get better. And a lot of still positive things. I thought at best 7-9, and they may get better than that. And I'd be impressed in the end.
Yeah, Joe, one of the things you mentioned this, and I'll just curious about this. It's got to be both, right? It's got to be physical and it's got to be mental, the college thing being over, right? I mean, it's got to be a bit physical too, right? Because if you're Darius Leonard, you're getting beat up like you've never had your brains beat out before, right? And same thing with Quentin Nelson, no matter how tough the dude is.
Right. Games are longer. Games are harder. Games are. Now, practices in the pros are probably easier just because that's all you have to worry about. Training staffs are, I won't say so much better because, at the top of the line, for Darius Leonard, you probably have better facilities and everything else in South Carolina State. But if you're in a major college program, they're spending every ounce and every dollar on you. So that part should be all right. But no, the physical nature, take the best player, that you would play against. You'd have one game a year in college where you'd play against a stud, and maybe if you were, in a really good conference, you'd play against two. Well, no, it's every week you're going to play against somebody just as good or better than you. And the constant punishment you take certainly is going to wear you down. And then you're right, the mental aspect, there's something to that too, because there's so much more pressure put on you. You're getting a paycheck for this, but there's so much more study that's involved in the pro game to know the idiosyncrasies of teams and to be able to, be all up on that. So, no, there is a mental fatigue that goes on too. And if you're winning, that, it's like anything. When you're winning, everything's fun and you can get through it. When you're losing, that's when it really taxes you. So we'll see how they respond to this loss. And I still think that locker room is one that I haven't seen in a long, long time around here, that they really didn't let the wins, and I don't think they're going to let the losses affect them that much.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Joe, man. Thanks. Go out and have lunch, dinner, lunch, brunch, whatever the hell.
You?
Huh?
Can I use your name?
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that usually works pretty good, Joe. Yeah. See you, my brother.
McDonald's, here I come.
You'll pay double. Appreciate Joe coming on.